Jana
Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for sharing that wonderful kirtan with us. So, let's have a look. Let's go to the Mangla Charan and then we'll move on to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, so you should be able to see that on the screen. Right. So, Swarup Prabhu, would you be kind enough to do the Mangla Charan as well? Because I don't think Mridhasachi Mataji's on mute.
Sure.
Yeah.
Om Yagana Timiradhasa Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitan Yana Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalaam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parigyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantu Radha Kantu Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpataruvyasya Kripa Sindhuva Evacha Patitanam Pavanevvo Vaishnavevvo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschaita Deshatarine Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
जय श्री
Hare
कृष्ण।
Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That's beautifully done. Thank you. Mridhasachi Mataji, can you hear us now?
यस मधु जी।
Ah, brilliant. Okay. So if we can just do the invocation for Chaitanya Charitamrita all together. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya
Jai
Shri
Sri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya,
Jaya
Jaya
Nityananda
Nityananda,
Shri Advaita
Yadvaita
Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Bhakta
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I've just looked at Amol Prabhu's message. He says that he's at Sita Sundari Mataji's home. Oh, and Midasachi Mataji said that there was no sound. Okay, did you not hear anything, Mataji? Or we could not hear you?
Yes, Mataji. I rejoined again. Now I can
Now
hear.
you can, yeah. Okay, because we was talking to you, but you wasn't answering. So, okay, Hare Krishna and Usha Mataji, Hare Krishna, welcome.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandavat.
Krishna, pranams. Okay, so let's have a look. Right, so today's really special because last week obviously we're still on this because we're doing literally verse by verse because there's so much nectar in all of these verses. So we're still on chapter 14, the ecstasy of his Lord and of the Lord and his devotees. So obviously we've been through quite a lot of content here, and last week we spoke specifically about the transcendental flute playing of Krishna, and we went into kind of detail about the different flutes, etc. And then today is really special because we're going to be speaking about Srimati Radharani's qualities. So like we said, Krishna has 64. Srimati Radharani has 25 transcendental qualities. So we spoke about Krishna. So Krishna has 64 transcendental qualities. Srimati Radharani has 25 transcendental qualities with which she can control even Krishna. So if we think Krishna has all these wonderful qualities, just with her, compared to him, he's got 64, just with her 25, she's so potent and she's such a brilliant, so in so many ways, she's his Haladani Shakti, she's part of him, she is him, she is the person that gives Krishna pleasure, the pleasure potency, she's everything to Krishna. So she is Krishna also, but she specifically, like we said before, Krishna expands. So there's two, and she has specific 25 qualities which really she uses to control even Krishna. So Krishna, remember, he is the controller of everything, but her and her special devotion, her topmost devotion, means that she can control Krishna with these specific qualities. So her transcendental qualities are as follows. 1, she is sweetness personified. 2, she's a fresh young girl. 3, her eyes are always moving. 4, she's always brightly smiling. 5, she possesses all auspicious marks on her body. 6, she can agitate Krishna by the aroma of her person. 7, she is expert in the art of singing. 8, she speaks very nicely and sweetly. 9, she is expert in presenting feminine attractions. 10, she is modest and gentle. 11, she's always very merciful. 12, she is transcendentally cunning. 13, she knows how to dress nicely. 14, she's always shy. 15, she's always respectful. 16, she's always patient. 17, she's very grave. 18, she's enjoyed by Krishna. 19, she's always situated on the highest devotional platform. 20, she's the abode of love of the residents of Gokula. 21, she can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. Number 22, she is always affectionate to superiors and inferiors. Number 23, she's always obliged by the dealings of her associates. Number 24, she is the greatest amongst Krishna's girlfriends. 25, she always keeps Krishna under her control. So these are the 25 qualities of Srimati Radharani. And it's that, there can never be enough that we can ever say to glorify her. She is the all glorious. It's because of her that when she recommends us to Krishna, then even Krishna like literally gives bat as an eyelid, because she, being who she is, she's the one who recommends. Even, you know, she overlooks all our negative qualities, everything. And when she sees someone engaged in Krishna's service, she recommends us to Krishna. So she, you know, if Krishna's hers and Krishna only thinks about her, and she gives us jivas, the whole universe, the whole world, the whole anybody who wants to get to know Krishna and be to understand Krishna consciousness, she gives us that. I suppose the word is adhikar, like she recommends us to Krishna. And she, every time we serve Krishna, she's the one that recommends our service. She's the one that, you know, she doesn't see, she gives Krishna to everybody. Now, if you think about that, even from a very mundane situation, imagine you have one woman or one man, they would never share. I mean, they might sometimes, you know, in devotee circles, it's probably a bit more open, but you know that there's an exchange. Like Swarup Prabhu was saying yesterday, he went to Meena Mataji's house. So even, you know, with devotees, but there's still a special relationship that the husband and wife, or you know, two people that are in love, that they share, and they don't normally share that with other people, or it's still more just between those two people. But Srimati Radharani, she's such that she shares. I mean, ultimately she is the cause of everything anyway. You know, she's the cause of all the Lakshmis, she's the cause of, you know, all the gopis, she's the cause of all the, especially in terms of the feminine, all the jivas also. She's actually the cause, but because of her, she allows everything to connect to Krishna. Um, because if Krishna is hers, Krishna only thinks about her. She only thinks about Krishna. So our mood should be one of bringing them together, because that's actually what makes Krishna happy. And she is the one who allows every single living entity into kind of like her love, you know, by glorifying Krishna. She brings everyone closer to Krishna. Um, and the anything we say about her is too small, and there's so much to say about her, but she's often hidden. And it, you know, even to speak about her is like a really big thing. It's like she's hidden because, and like we said last week, Krishna has his arm over his heart center because he's protecting her, because she is his heart, and she is the thing that brings him pleasure. So he's covering that. She's not something that we can just speak about in terms of, it's only maybe in devotee circles we can speak about her, but she's not normally spoken about even through the Bhagavatam. She's in everything, but she's still a secret. um but it's through her that we get, when we do service, say for example, we experience untold amounts of joy, and we get more enthusiasm for doing more service to Krishna, because the joy that comes from serving Lord, you know, why, you know, like, why is it that we have to serve the Lord? What is the big deal? Like, someone could turn around and say, oh well, you know, we have to you know, who's this Krishna, why do we have to serve him, etc. But actually the fact that if we serve him, we love him, the it's us that gets the pleasure through that service, and that love, it comes from her. So when we're rendering service, and we even feel a little bit of joy or happiness when, like, you know, I don't know, when we're singing or when we meet, or like Swarup Prabhu was saying, he went to Meena Mataji's house yesterday. When there's a gathering, I'm sure there was like some kirtan, and you know, there was some feeding and prasadam and all those things. When we do it for the Lord, it's her that's giving us that pleasure, and that, you know, we feel good after we so in fact, if we serve him, that is when we experience the most unlimited amount of joy. And that joy is her, because she gives us access to that. Krishna, when we hear about Krishna, Krishna himself says he's aloof from everything. He's, but one who's surrendered to him and etc. He gives them like knowledge, and he gives them, he's also Bhakta Vatsala, and he does all these things. But it's Srimati Radharani that ultimately gives us that pleasure, um, when we serve Krishna. So in so many ways, there's never will be anything we can ever do to thank her, because she gives us access to Krishna. It's through her that we gain access. And even, sometimes we hear that the guru is a representative of Srimati Radharani, or we hear that, like the guru of Lord Balram, or what have you. But especially through her, we experience so much love, joy. She's in the Madhurya Ras. And not only is she in that, she's everything. She's the pleasure potency. Everything comes from her. She's the source of all the Lakshmis. She's the source of all the Dwarka queens. She's the source of all the gopis. And it was Gadadhar Pandit's appearance day yesterday, and it will be Sita Devi's one soon. So again, like two prominent um forms of hers in different types of leelas. And she, like, even if like, even as the, obviously Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the embodiment of her bhav, but Gadadhar Pandit is also her energy. And Gadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have a very intimate relationship, whereby Gadadhar Pandit served, was one of the very few devotees that went with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Puri. And even at the end, when she wasn't able to feed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down as Tota Gopinath, and she fed him. And that's the only deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that's sitting. And he took her his, so it was a hymn, but it's Srimati Radharani. So again, this service mood of, and this loving mood of serving the Supreme, she again embodied, uh, as in the form of Gadadhar Pandit. And like Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj, they all, he worshipped Gaur Gadadhar. So Srimati Radharani, she has all these wonderful, wonderful qualities, and the sort of there's nothing we can ever say enough to glorify her. Um, whether it's her sacrifice, whether it's the pain she goes through, the separation she goes through, whether it's the joy she goes through. It's said that even when she's standing next to Krishna, sometimes her eyes are so tearful. It's um, because she thinks Krishna is going to leave her, and she's experiencing separation even though she's with him. Um, and it's her constant sacrifice. Uh, and she she's she's wholly united with the Lord, in every way as well. And she's different from everything else because she is him and he is her. So we see this when they come together in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but maybe even deeper than that. um sh- they are, yeah, I mean, they are one, but they manifest as two, um and then they go back to one, because they want to experience each other internally, or at least Krishna does, and he wants to understand what is it that she feels for him, which we know is the kind of understanding behind this. So these qualities, she's sweetness personified, so she's very, very, very sweet. And I suppose any of you that have been to Barsana, like, the mercy is just flowing. And if you just tune into her, she's there. She's a person that supports us through everything as well. Like, she's so easy to relate to, and she's so it's really easy to feel her power, especially in Vrindavan. And she's very, very sweet. You know, she's also the source of all the Durgas as well. She is the Kali, she is the, you know, all the other sources as well, because everything does emanate from her. And even though in the material she will manifest as those more fiercer forms, as Radharani and her core essence, it is very, very sweet. And therefore, like we say, Madhurya Ras, because everything about her is just sweet. And it's Madhurya, it's all pleasing. There's, you know, it's not rough. Um, and when she speaks, it's in that way which is so comforting, so nurturing, um, and so giving. Um, and we hear that she's, you know, she's a fresh young girl always. She doesn't grow old. You know, she's the most beautiful, and there's a transcendental competition between her and Krishna, as they keep just, you know, outdoing each other in this, in the contest of beauty, basically, or in the contest of, you know, who can outdo each other. And she's always happy, and and you know, we see that, and we experience her in that form all the time. Her eyes are always moving. She's very um she's probably very thoughtful, and therefore her eyes are moving, and she's probably always searching for Krishna as well. And she's probably keeping an eye on him as well. So her eyes are always moving. She sees everything, she understands everything, she knows everything. She's always brightly smiling. So even though through her pain, through her suffering, through her separation, um, she's got that warmth that, you know, everybody is drawn to her, and she's always brightly smiling. She possesses all auspicious marks on her body. So, like Krishna's lotus feet with all the different markings, she also has, then there's so much written about the auspicious marks on her body. Maybe one day we can go into that a bit deeper. But she has specific marks on her body which make her auspicious, and, you know, therefore, around Srimati Radharani, there is only auspiciousness. She can agitate Krishna by the aroma of her person. So just, you know, this scent, you know, most people have to put on so many, like, you know, perfumes and scents, but her natural body odor is what agitates Krishna, and she's able to do that. Um, she's expert in the art of singing. So obviously sometimes we see her with the veena. Normally we see like Mother Saraswati with the veena, but Radharani also, I think, there's like one picture I have of her actually, and she's holding the veena, um, and her singing, it's in the most alluring and most impactful way in which she can attract Krishna, um, and he's attracted by her, and probably only by her as well. Even though he's, you know, attracted by all devotion, service, etc., but she's like the person that, you know, they say that, you know, he you know, he sings his flute. Obviously we spoke about the flute and his different connections, but there was one flute that was specifically just for her, um and she attracts him in the same way. She speaks very nicely and very sweetly, so it's not often that we hear her being rude, or you know, she's, you know, she's quite astute, and sometimes her words are like, you know, very two meaning, three meaning, or she she plays with Krishna quite a bit, or she's trying to find something out. But generally, she's very nice, especially to her elders. She's very respectful, and she's very nice. And there's just something we can learn from her. 9, she's expert in presenting feminine attraction. So again, she's the feminine aspect of Krishna, and therefore her femininity is what attracts Krishna. um, to her. She's modest and she's gentle. So modesty is obviously very important. Um, and to be modest um, is probably not to be proud. And it's to it's just a kind of more subtle behavior, and gentle and kind. She's not you We wouldn't hear of her going and she didn't beat up any demons, or even though she probably has a part to play in it, it's not necessarily her that we hear about. But obviously through her manifestations as the other Devis, then I'm sure that there is an element of where she has to become fierce. But generally her persona, just the Radharani's persona, is very gentle, is very kind, and it is just a pleasure giving um kind of mood. She's always very merciful. So if we think about how much mercy she's bestowed upon us, so many of you have been to Vrindavan now, and if you haven't, it will be because of her mercy that you go. No one can enter Vrindavan without her permission or Lord Balram's permission. Um, and she, to devotees, she's so kind, she's so nice. It doesn't matter if someone just little bit takes a step towards Krishna. She showers them with so much love, so much blessings, um, and and her mercy is always flowing. Um, and it's always flowing. It's like there's nothing, Krishna might actually say no, and Krishna does say no to lots of things. He sometimes doesn't sanction things, or there's so much that, really, if you go deep in your relationship with Krishna also, he does really remove the anarthas. His personality is still, he still wants us to be a certain way. But with her, she's very merciful, and she's just very, very, very accepting, and she accepts everybody, and especially people that um are trying to take up to Krishna consciousness. And it's through her mercy that we're able to serve the Lord and to understand him and to love him, and it's because of her. She's transcendently cunning, so I think she has to be cunning, because she sees Krishna, he's kind of like a Luffy character. um and the deeper you go into the scripture, like, he's always you'll hear her kind of transcendentally being, I don't know, a little bit um upset because he's with another gopi, or um and therefore she's cunning about it. Like, she doesn't ever say it straight out, but she'll, even in Krishna book, when Uddhava goes to see her, she talks about, like, Krishna being like a bumblebee, or the trees being a certain way, or and in that she won't say it straight away. She doesn't say it straightforwardly, but she says it in a kind of roundabouts way. 18, she knows how to dress nicely. So I don't think we've ever seen Srimati Radharani not dressed nicely. She has lots of gopis to help her get dressed. But ultimately, her main shringar, and we see this shringaras with Krishna, like especially if you go to Kusum Sarovar, etc., where Krishna actually dresses her, and we see this picture of him uh, putting Shingar on her, and she's always like nicely dressed. Her mood is always to attract Krishna. She doesn't necessarily need all the opulence that we may see presented in, like, on a queen, or she's very subtle in that, and even uh nature, like we see her, like when we see pictures of her, she's dressed with lots of flowers, um and she always, even if we look at a detail of Srimati Radharani, she looks better every day. Um, so she knows how to dress nicely. She's always shy, and now shyness is a quality that um that she's all these things, but she would never, like, alongside modesty, she covers, um and she doesn't show that about herself. um, and and these qualities all attract Krishna. She's always respectful, so again, she's not rude. She tries to be pleasant, and in her behavior we always see that um, she's very respectful, and she's patient. She has to have patience if Krishna's going to leave her and go, and they had separation when they were here. And even in all of the avatars of hers, she there is this element that she has to be patient. She's not physically, or we don't always necessarily see them together, like in so many leelas. Like with Krishna leela there was separation, with Ram leela there was separation, in um, Chaitanya leela also, especially in this form of that. No, so in Chaitanya Lila it was less because there was the combination, but nevertheless the patience of her is always there. She's patient that Krishna will return. She's patient. It doesn't matter if it's going to be decades and decades and decades later, but she's patient with that. She could just become really impatient, and um but no, she, even throughout her life she was patient, and she was patiently awaiting Krishna. She's very grave, so she's quite serious, and when the time is there, she can be really serious. Um, she's enjoyed by Krishna, so Krishna and her have a conjugal relationship, and she is enjoyed by him. 19, she's always situated on the highest devotional platform. So whenever we see Radharani, she is the best, the topmost devotee of Krishna, and everything else follows in her footsteps or is under her control. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj said that we are Rupanugas, and Rupanugas are very, are linked to Lalita Devi, and Lalita Devi is obviously Radharani's best friend. So ultimately, everything is, she is the topmost devotee, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj said that we're not followers necessarily. Obviously, we're followers of Krishna, but it's actually Radharani who we favor, who we support, um, and because she's the highest devotional service. And Krishna says, you know, if someone just says like Radhe Radhe, or they mention Srimati Radha's name, he goes following. So if we have her mercy, then he will also be there. But if we have his mercy, she may or may not. But if we have her mercy, then both of them we have. Um, she's the abode of love of the residents of Gokula. So she is Vrindavaneshwari. She is the queen of Vrindavan. Um, and she's the abode of love, and all those loving sentiments, that priti, that that thing that everybody wants to find in this world, or the thing that we're all looking for. For the residents of Gokula, like they will never leave. Like we always hear, they're under Radharani's jurisdiction. um and it's very difficult. Everything actually, once we take shelter of her, then she takes us into her shelter, and and all the Brajvasis, etc., they are experiencing her love at all times, and they will always, they'll always single her out as being the person who is giving residence in Vrindavan. She can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. So normally we take shelter of Srimati Radharani initially, um, and a guru, etc. Um, because she can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. So even if Krishna rejects us, she actually gives us shelter. Um, and she's just very, very kind. Um, she's always affectionate to superiors and inferiors. Um, and we see that in so many ways. So superiors are people that, like her parents, Vishapanu, King Vishapanu, or Queen Kirtida, or inferiors, meaning people like Jatila, Kutila, who are her sister-in-law, mother-in-law, who actually are inferior to her um, because the thinking, everything about them is kind of inferior. But she's still nice to them, and she still shows them affection, and that's difficult. If we can think about, if someone's annoying us, it's very hard to be affectionate to that person, because we carry on, we do what we have to do, but to be affectionate, to continue to be affectionate to people that are of a certain mentality, it takes a lot, and she has that quality. 23, she's always obliged by the dealings of her associates. So she has so many, so many gopi friends. And if we just think of Vrinda Devi, like, she worships Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi is the person that creates all these wonderful meetings between Radharani and Krishna. But ultimately, she worships Tulsi Maharani, and she's given all these specific boons by Tulsi Maharani, um, because she's pleased with Srimati Radharani. Um, and she's always obliged by these dealings of her associates. Um, 24, she's affectionate amongst Krishna's girlfriends. She's the greatest, sorry, amongst Krishna's girlfriends. So she is the source of everything, and the greatest. And one of the main reasons for that greatness is that she allows others. I'm not saying that she shares Krishna, but what I'm saying is that she allows everybody to have association of Krishna, to feel her joy. Even though everything is an expansion of her, she is still unique. And like I say, not everybody would be able to access anybody's spouse or anybody's girlfriend, boyfriend, but she allows every jiva, every entity to connect with Krishna. And therefore, she is the greatest amongst his girlfriends. Um, and there are so many stories to depict that. Why is she so great? Like, she doesn't even think about herself. Like, it's only Krishna. There is no, like, for her, there's just Krishna. And she always keeps Krishna under her control. And again, this control, nothing can control Krishna. Mother Yashoda couldn't control him. She couldn't tie him unless he gave her mercy. And she put in that endeavor. But it's Radharani, through her devotion, through her service, that she's able to control Krishna under her power. And we often hear that Krishna is only he's only willing to kind of give that control when he really knows that somebody is a real true devotee of his. Because once we have Krishna, then he's ours. He wants to be ours, but we kind of we purchase him in so many ways, and he becomes controlled. He's Bhaktvatsala. He's always doing things for his devotees. He becomes um no he doesn't normally like just giving anybody this boon of devotion because it can control him, but she always keeps him under her control. And for any man, let alone, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The ability, how many people can control their husband or their wife, or, to control a spouse is very difficult. Um, but she manages to keep Krishna under her control. Nothing, like I said, even Mother Yashoda couldn't tie him, she couldn't bind him, whereas Radharani, she can, because she keeps him under her control. So they were the 25 qualities of Srimati Radharani. Is there anything anybody would like to ask, or are there any queries or comments? Maybe we can continue to talk about this next week as well, because there's so much written about Srimati Radharani, but at the same time she's very gupt, and we can only speak with her with the utmost honor. She is beyond she's beyond all description. She's just so perfect that she gives us the opportunity to try to realize her, you know, and to serve her. And she's just very, very, very merciful. And we really should just take so much shelter of her, because she could take us to Krishna, but also every experience that we feel is Srimati Radharani, especially those happy feelings of service. It's her that gives them. So there's so much gratitude. There is nothing that we can really do without her. She's the creative force. She's the feminine of Krishna. She's in his heart. She's his Haladani Shakti. And there is any words said about Srimati Radharani are just too less. But we will continue to talk about her next week. So if there are no questions, should we move on to the Nashingadev prayers? We'll end for the night. So Gayatri Mataji and Meena Mataji, would you be kind enough to do the Nashingadev prayers?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Mataji, we missed you yesterday. Why you didn't come?
Mataji, I totally forgot. It's just Swarup Prabhu. I just totally forgot. I don't know. He just said it now. I was at the manor because I obviously had Krishna Club, and I had I completely forgot. I know it sounds really bad. And you live
Because,
near the manor as well, don't you?
yeah, only 15 minutes or something, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Please forgive me.
No,
I
it's
think once I
okay.
start work, I just get into the work mode, and then I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it would be nice. It would be here if you would be here. Yeah, but anyway, maybe next time.
Yeah. No, I will definitely, and I think I will definitely come around. I'm so sorry.
No, I
I
don't
just,
have to say sorry, but like we missed your association.
yeah, I know.
So,
I just, as he said it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember you telling us. And then I think where we had the holidays is just like slipped my mind.
it's okay.
But yeah, I could have come. I mean, I was there anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You live near Hero as well, isn't it? No?
No, I don't. I live in Essex.
Okay, because you came that day on that. Okay, because
I
the
come on,
program.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I come on Sundays because I do
Mm-hmm.
Krishna Club there, so I come.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
okay, so Mataji, would you be kind enough to do Nashinga Dev prayers?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, I'll just put them on.
No, it's okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, if you don't need them, but I'll
Mm,
just put them on just so that everyone can follow.
yeah.
And then we will continue to talk about Srimati Radharani. I think it was just an introductory today. I think there's quite a lot to still be said. Okay.
Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a form of hers as well. Yeah. So even
mm-hmm.
though it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she's the Bhav, but she's still also a form of Gadadhar Pandit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
want
So
to start?
Mataji. Yes, yes, please. And Gayatri Mataji, if you could follow, that would be great.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sure
Hare
Mataji. Thank you.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
प्रह्लाद अह्लाददायिने
प्रह्लाद लाददायिने
हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः
हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः
तिलटङ्कानकालाय
शीलाटङ्कानखालाय
इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंहो
इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंहो
इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंहो
इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यमिततो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
नरसिंहामदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये
तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतसिंह दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव करकमलवरे नखाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे। माताजी और म्यूटेड माताजी।
केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे।
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, जय प्रहलाद महाराज।
जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल।
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
नृसिंहदेव भगवान की
जय
प्रहलाद महाराज की
जय
नित्य गौ प्रेमानंदे
Hare Hare.
हरि हरि बोल
हरे कृष्ण।
थैंक यू माता
Hare
जी
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Also
हरे
beautifully
कृष्ण
said. Thank you so much. Right. Okay. So with that, I'm sure everyone. It's Monday. I'm sure everyone's been really busy. So we'll wrap up for the evening, and we'll continue with. We'll talk about Radharani in quite a lot of more depth. And so yeah, today was just literally just going through that verse and just her different qualities, but we'll speak about her in depth in the coming weeks. So with that, Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
अनंत
Anantamurti
कोटि
Vaishnava
वैष्णव
Vrinda
की
Ki
जय,
Jai Srila
श्री
Prabhupada
प्रभुपाद
Ki
की
Jai
जय
जय।